So lucky. Until you're here.
Hello.
For those of you who don't know me, I'm Rabecca Simmons. Married here with my husband Samuel. Like many of you, we are not from here. In fact, probably none of you are from here. We came from Cornwall, England. My father was a miner. Really, everyone there was a miner. At the time of my birth, 1866, my father had brought our family to Brazil, where the mining industry was booming. It had not been in Cornwall for some time. We lived there till I was a teenager, and as that declined, we went back to England, where I met Samuel and got married. We had a son, little John, in 1890, excuse me. And as we determined how to support our young family, my brother and his brother had already come to Park City because the silver mines were going off. And we thought, well, Samuel could come here for a time ahead of us, and once he's established, send for me and little John to join him. There was a saying in Cornwall at that time: if you were looking for a real Cornish miner, you had to look somewhere like Nevada, because everybody had to move. So he came and he got a job at the Anchor Mine way up in Empire Canyon, a very deep shafted mine, 1,400 feet. And on May 16th, 1895, it was a Thursday like any other day, he and Mr. Frank Woolsey and Mr. William Jennings got in the mine, in the hoist, to come to the surface to take their lunch break. So it was just like a bucket of an elevator. But unlike any other day, as it approached the surface, it's supposed to slow down. But something went terribly wrong in the mechanism and the rope clamps, and it came flying up so fast, it just went full on speed right into the gallows structure that supported it, and the bucket tipped and the three men went flying out. And Mr. Jennings landed bruised on a platform, but alive. And Mr. Woolsey and my Samuel, they tumbled back down that mine shaft, 1,400 feet, falling in this dark, cold hole in the ground, just hitting the sides and just nothing to break their fall. The other miners did their best to collect the remains, which were unrecognizable few body parts. They just put them in a box. A box was all that was left to take to the coroner. When news reached me in England, I made haste to come immediately with little John, who was just 5. I was 31 and a widow. We got here in October. He had died in May. The funeral had already been held at the Opera House. Because he was a member of the Oddfellows, he was able to be buried here. My time in Park City was very short, and I'm not happy. I grieved every day. And not just to be a widow, but the tragedy of this death. It haunted me. I started to have trouble caring for myself. I would get these muscle spasms, and then I started to drool, and I lost my speech. I was slurring my speech. Eventually I couldn't walk. I couldn't care for little John. I couldn't care for myself. My brother was trying to help me and take care of me, and he took me to a doctor who said I was going insane with the grief. So they took me to Provo, to the Territorial Insane Asylum, and a month later I was dead. Buried here with Samuel. At a medical inquest after my death, they realized that the cause of my death was actually a virus, much like polio, that I caught, called bulbar paralysis. It gets in your spinal fluid and starts shutting everything down very quickly. I wasn't insane, although I had been strongly grieving. Little John was adopted by the Williams family and cared for. So I say my time in Park City was short and not happy at all. But I hope that you all have a different outcome, and that you have a long time in Park City, and that it's very joyful. And please visit anytime. Thank you.